Today, yeah, agenda items, just reviewing action items, which, wait, I thought I had added, oh, I added it down here by accident. Ha! I was just editing this. All right, paste that there. Okay, cool. That's where I wanted that. And I'll get rid of that rogue checkbox. Cool. All right. Yeah, Derek was dealing with the action item, which was for making this RC for a single shared concourse instance for the Cloud Foundry Foundation. I saw he did actually create a draft RC for that at least yesterday, so that is in progress and happening. So I'll check that off for him there. So that's that action item. Um, and then yeah, then update on project infrastructure. Oh wait, did I? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I had the wrong thing. That's why I was like, why does this agenda feel weird? I thought I just edited it. But anyways, yeah, anyways, there's still a bunch of ongoing like cost management work going on from the Cloud Foundry Foundation. Um, Derek and I, a couple of weeks ago, I think like third week of June or something like that, we took some time and we just like cleaned up the concourse infrastructure. There's a lot of just like old linking resources that either weren't cleaned up correctly from like old pipeline tests and stuff like that. So we literally just went through, cleaned that up, and just to show how much was just kind of lingering around, we ended up reducing monthly costs by 40% just by deleting old things in the GCP account. So yeah, that happened there. And that's pretty much all there's to say about that. I think as far as I know right now, the costing stuff, 40% is like a pretty good drop. So I don't think we need to do too much other work besides that. I know there's some stuff on the pipelines that I think I want to kind of tighten and do better cleaning up, like if tests fail and stuff. But other than that, um, we're looking pretty good on the cost side of things there. Concourse on ARM is in a pretty good spot right now. The plan right now is to have a 7.14 release. I know on the master branch right now, there's some like version 8 stuff on there. So I'm gonna like, branch off and then I'm gonna just mess around with the branch history separately. And that'll become the 7.14 branch. I'm gonna make sure I prune off all the version 8 stuff. And then that'll become 7.14 release. And that'll very likely be the last version 7 release of Concourse. And then the rest of the focus will just be on getting in those VA changes. I know there's the valid identifiers PR that we need to kind of work on and figure out how we're going to deal with that and some of the difficulties with just enforcing the valid identifiers. But we'll think more deeply about that once 714 is behind us, which I hope to do over the next, like, in my head right now, I'm saying like the next 2 weeks, because there's like just some small things that I'm trying to clean up in Concourse related to like um, how you download the Fly CLI in Concourse. So just doing some work on there, but then everything else is in pretty good space. Like all the resource types are publishing ARM versions, which is good. Got the dev version of that publishing, and I think I've mostly wrangled the release pipeline to deal with the ARM version and everything like that. And we even do there even is a smoke testing for the ARM release, so it's not just like compile and shipping it. It's like compile. There's some test specifically against it, and then it would be shipped. So feeling pretty good about that overall. Um, and I'm actually not sure if I can't remember if I mentioned this last time or not. But the Guardian runtime on their release repo, they publish an ARM version of Guardian. Sadly, the ARM version of Guardian, it is a single binary that they ship, but inside that binary, there's actually other like binaries that they package with it, and those binaries packaged inside of it are not ARM. So when you try and spin up Concourse like ARM Concourse using Guardian, you end up getting a bunch of like exec format errors because it tries to execute a bunch of non-ARM binaries. So I flagged that issue for them. They acknowledged that, yeah, that's a problem. That's a thing. Likely because I was the only person to ever try to use the ARM version of Guardian initially. So yeah, and they have no plans to fix that anytime soon, sadly. It's just they're like, yeah, not enough bandwidth to try and fix this. Um, and their whole build and release process is very complicated because they actually all those binaries that they bundle, which I can't remember what all of them are, but I know one of them is like IP tables because I think that's the one we end up falling over trying to run. But they compile all those from scratch, so that's part of their problem. And those are all like C based tools. So, cross compiling C, as far as I can tell, I'm no C expert, but from what I've been able to glean from searching, cross compiling C is not a straightforward or easy thing to do. And the recommendation is to just, get a machine that matches your CPU architecture and compile on that machine. If you want to compile some C application for a different CPU architecture. So yeah, so not expecting Guardian to do anything there. So gonna the ARM version of Concourse will only support the container D runtime. I'll have to make some changes to the worker package to make that work. Not difficult, but just another like compiling forking thing going on. Not too hard. Uh, and that is it as far as that stuff goes. So yeah, container D, missing logs issue. I'm curious what you guys have discovered. Please share.
Yeah. So maybe just so we change a bit the dynamic of the meeting. Maybe it's okay if we give you status updates from our side on what we are currently working, because I know you have a lot on your plate as well. So for the last month, I think we contributed around the vote issue that was. We opened the PR because Vault was not able to work with tokens other than other than service tokens. But for example, in our use cases, we sometimes use batches that are more lightweight, and that was something we wanted to address. So if the token is not renewable, to also have a mechanism of using it in Concourse. So that was the first thing we did in the last month. A second thing is we had a security incident around being able to use the out token, the Sky Marshal out token, even after you log out from a session, meaning that sessions didn't invalidate the token, they just deleted it from the cookies. So we contributed this. There was a bit of a hassle because we didn't know you used cache, and the cache was, I think, hard coded to 1 MB to flush tokens after that. So we played around a bit and so we were wondering, okay, we deleted it from the database, but it's still active. So how the hell is it working? But yeah, we found out the caching mechanism and we also adjusted it. And yeah, around the container, this is maybe the most complex of all because it just has a lot going on there. But what we found out, so the part I was looking at was the FIFO. So I think we didn't use, from my perspective, we weren't persisting. So I thought it was using in-memory statuses for the streams. Turns out it's not. So you do use the FIFOs that come with the IO packages, but they are the default ones. So you do not spin your own structures, and you use the with streams method, which also creates everything. So the problem comes that once you restart the web, somehow it loses the handle for the worker, and then it tries to reattach. So initially it creates a container, but then we use the attach method when you restart the web. And once it attaches, it does the with streams part again. But from what we found out in the package itself, you cannot have multiple readers open. If you have multiple readers, it would just use the latest one, and the other ones will not work. And what we do is when you call with streams, it opens a new reader. So at a certain point, we have two active streams. So what Ivan tested, just so we can confirm that that's the problem, is just manually closing the file system. So the files themselves, the reader file. He just selected the active ones and closed them before attaching, and that solved the issue. So there were no more missing build logs. So we somehow, so this is not a clean solution because manually closing the files is not something that I think is fine to be left as it is, but at least it confirmed that we should either close the streams or reuse the existing streams on the worker because the streams are there. It's just that I think the web currently after restart does not know about them. So our question was, do you know if that was something intended or to during the attach to create new streams, or is it something that was just maybe possibly maybe nobody else is doing rolling updates during workload, so that's why nobody else noticed it with containerd. But
Yeah.
from my side, I think that it's something that shouldn't be as it is. So the workers should not depend on the web's not restarting at all. So
Yeah, totally. And just to clarify one thing to make sure I'm understanding it correctly, because that was a very good explanation. But so I'm assuming that because if I'm remembering the issue correctly, like you guys would stream the logs, you would do the updates, and then you would just lose some logs while that connection was being reestablished. And but the logs would eventually start coming back, but you would just have a middle chunk that you were like, there's like
no,
5, 10 seconds of logs missing or something.
no. That
No? Okay.
the missing middle chunk is fine. That's expected, and it's also applicable with Guardian. The problem is that after this missing part, so after you get the selected worker message, meaning that the web has started a new attach session
Hmm.
for the container. Then afterwards, we are seeing intermittent logs. So for example, if you have a job that echoes 1, 2, 3, etc. to 100, for example, so if you are started 50, you would then see, for example, 51 and then 62, then 75 and some random logs, not persistent. So if you are started 50
Ah,
and you, for example, see 60 and then 61, 62, that's obviously fine. So for the part that the web was down, it's absolutely expected to until it resyncs to have it, but they get scrambled. And the scrambling happens because we open new streams and not reuse the ones existing, because Guardian, from
gotcha.
what we saw, the Guardian, so it also uses the Gardener or Guardian. I'm not sure what's the process, but it also uses the same. So it's wrapped with containerd, but it still uses the same server, right? And it
Yep.
schedules a new process, meaning that it creates new FIFOs and new streams for that process. And when you use the new streams, you have duplicated streams for the same container that's currently running. And if you have duplicated, it just uses the latest ones. But that doesn't mean that the other don't scramble it up. So that's what, from our current perspective, the issue is that we spin up new streams, but we should reuse the ones that are currently there somehow. And that's what we wanted to ask. So maybe it was intended that you did the attaching this way. So we just wanted to make sure. If you open the issue, I think also Ivan left a pretty detailed comment with what he did, because
Oh, nice.
I'm more secondary on the subject at the moment. But yeah, as
Yeah.
far as I understood, that's the whole issue.
Okay. Oh, yeah. This is what he starts to explain here. As a stopgap, I added force closure in a file.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
but
Okay.
this is not a clean. Obviously, this is not fine.
No.
It's just
Yeah.
something that confirms
It
the
helps
problem.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still very, very useful for just for understanding the problem here. Okay,
Yeah, and by
cool.
the way, I found out. So if you do open the IO CTO, which you use, so you add IO opts, there are options for containerd. If you open
Yeah.
the containerd IO documentation around the attach method, they specifically say you should not have two active readers, or else you would get similar problems. It's just that no one was looking at that.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, definitely not. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
and
this is this sounds like just us not realizing that we had that responsibility as users of the package, that we had to manage that. So definitely just an oversight there. Okay. Yeah, again, I'm not immediately sure. Yeah, right now how to fix that, but this information is great, at least for fully understanding what the problem is. But yeah, it sounds like, yeah, we just need to figure out a way how to make sure that we either reattach to that stream, or if there was a nice way to close existing streams, I guess that would work too. Actually, I don't know if that would have some weird downstream effect on the process. If that would, yeah,
I,
probably
I,
just trying
I,
to reuse the
I
existing stream would probably be best.
I think if we try to close, then the obvious way would be to somehow stop the container, but then that would affect the job, right? So the other
No, yeah.
thing is manually closing streams, but then we get this stopgap solution, which is also not fine. I think
Mm,
there should be if there's not at the moment, maybe you have it in the code. I just haven't seen it yet, but there should be at least metadata way because the streams are just some files. So here the streams are obviously some temporary files within the FIFO slash container ID, std out, std etc.
yeah,
Files. So if we somehow have it, from my perspective, at least just thinking out loud, if we have the persist the process ID of the bit of the before stopping or before the one that was during the creation of the container, and we
yeah,
just reuse it. We just instantiate a structure with streams that obviously use the same bit. Then I don't think that it would create new streams. It would just use the streams you pass it on as an option to the attach call, and that should solve it from my current suspicion, but obviously we would need to play around and code it before testing it. But in any
yeah,
case, I think it's possible. I was just wondering maybe if you had some info on the subject, and since you were working heavily on container the last couple of years, I was pretty sure you got more context than us on this, so that's why we wanted to sync up. And yeah,
yeah,
I think also if, Ivan would be fine if you provide him with at least some clarity or maybe a direction on how you would also do it, just so we are on the same page and we don't uh, we don't try something that you wouldn't be fine with. Let's say it like that.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to, yeah. Yeah, no, right now I actually kind of have the same questions as you because I don't remember how specifically some of this information gets stored. So I would have to go explore the code base a little bit, but I can spend a little bit of time, dig up some information about it because at least I am familiar with the packages and what's happening where. Um, because yeah, there is
Yeah, maybe the last
I
thing we tried. So what I suggested to Evan was, okay, they're currently contained is obviously the hype. Let's try to dig around in the open source community and check maybe other people also attach in a similar way. But most of
yeah,
them use their file system. So and we have the Guardian stream. So we have to here it's a bit more complicated because we do need the Gardener service to be uh yeah to map it with garden as well. But yeah,
hmm,
feel free to dig out maybe if you even if you just know of similar products that implement similar solutions, just forward them to us so we can cheat off of them, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Obviously we just yeah, we just need to make sure, because I don't think any one of us has expertise with specifically container orchestration on that level. So it would be cool if we can see obviously an
yeah,
example. And yeah,
yep,
for I think that the problem was not reproducible with Guardian because it does not use similar mechanisms. So as you know here, it used the container dishems for log
yep,
buffering, etc. But Guardian, I think they obviously just use some files on there, and they create temporary files for storing the logs, and that's why I think it's this is specific to container D, right?
yeah, yeah. Honestly, for stuff like this, I usually want to like I always wish I had like a container D expert that I could just ask them quick questions about like, hey, how do you guys expected
So
this to be used and whatnot?
I thought there was I'm not sure, maybe I will mispronounce the username, but there was a Montak or something like that, a guy that was
Yep.
heavily involved in this. So I was wondering maybe if he's around, maybe we could ask them for
Ah,
inputs. Or
I remember Muntasir, and sadly, he is doing his PhD, and he's been doing that for the past couple of years now. So
Ah,
he
okay,
will
yeah,
not be available to ask questions, and he probably does not remember either at this point. But yeah, I know his name is
yeah,
over a lot of these old commits and everything. Him and Ciro as well.
yeah,
But yeah, anyways, yeah, all these guys, yeah, sadly, not not
yeah.
around to ask questions anymore.
Let's hope we can reverse what they already had and somehow figure
I
it
think we
out.
can. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
we can. I'm feeling confident after the last continuity issue that we had, which I even forget the heck that was now. I can't, but I remember going through it, figured it out after playing around. I remember how to do a container D task and stuff like that, and those stopping and starting. Anyways,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll be able to figure out, especially now that you guys have got us a good understanding
Yeah,
of what's going on
for
here.
for me, I scratched my head for I don't know 3 or 4 days actively working on this, and I haven't
Ooh.
just hacked away something for 30, 40 minutes. So I was like, "You're my God from now on. Just please always do this stuff." But yeah, obviously we got lucky
Ooh.
as well, maybe. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool that we at least we have a pinpointed problem. So we will hack away some solution that could stabilize this.
Cool, man. Yeah. Shout out to Ivan then. Big thanks to him
Yeah,
for figuring that out. I know that part of the problem I still had with like, or like part of my hesitancy with you in tackling this issue was I don't have a good way to reproduce this right now, or at least I haven't spent the time to try to figure out a good way to reproduce this at
yeah,
least
yeah. I
locally.
I wrote it so if you even when you need to review it, the easiest way you just spin up Concourse with Docker Compose. You start
Hmm.
a task, so obviously with Container D. You start a task on a long running task that just echoes 1, 2, 3, or let's
Yep.
say for 20 minutes each second, and you just restart your web with Docker restart, and you would reproduce
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I wasn't sure if I had to do that or if I would have to like mess around with my Docker Compose file a bit. But okay, cool. If
No,
it's
no,
that straightforward,
it's that straightforward, and I think I
lovely.
provided a pipeline
Yeah, you did.
which
I
should
actually have
reproduce
it.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it here. I have it up on the screen sharing. Okay, terrific. Great, great,
Yeah,
great, great, great.
it's pretty easy. I was also wondering,
Oh
so
yeah, cool.
in the past for the governance, do you have so in order to get approver status, do you had some like in the other open source community, you have to be active on this many PRs or some other rules or guidance for that? What's
Uh,
the process for that?
right now the process would actually just be whatever Cloud Foundry defines, which I think they do have like a nice like strict thing of like being active on PRs and everything like that, submitting them and whatnot. I think you can probably find it where it's like GitHub, Cloud Foundry, and I think community. Yeah, I think in here, I think they have documentation about, yeah, how to become an approver and stuff. But I know the final concrete step will actually just be making a pull request to this repo, giving you approver status. I think you guys already have some stuff too. Trying to remember what it is. Let's actually
I think we
see.
had reviewers at the moment with Taiwan, but yeah, at least from our side, I think we just
Yes.
one approver to not harass you each time we have something ad hoc for us, like for example the one with Vault or the one with the security
Yeah.
credentials, because they were pretty. So obviously, if it's something a bit more disruptive or acting on more interfaces, we would involve you just. As guidance and best practices, but for some small stuff like the logout and vault issues, I don't think we even needed to harass you that much. But since you only have the right permissions at the moment, that's why we more or less had to get you involved on those as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Which is
let's
fine.
research. Yeah, yeah, it's fine, but I don't like to be that noisy and yeah, to
Yeah.
obviously harass you this way. So yeah, if there's a process, just let us know so we can actively work towards that and maybe make it easier for all of us.
Yep. Agreed. Because yeah, I don't like I very much feel I am the bottleneck right now for getting PRs into anything in Concourse, and yeah, it's not a great feeling for me either. It stresses me out a little bit. And also, yeah, just I don't have enough time in any given day. So yeah, it would be nice to actually have more pros. Like I know we have all these other people, but even they're not like they're all just the Broadcom folks, and they're not very actively working on Concourse at all. But yeah,
I think the
yeah,
last time someone from us contacted Wayne, he said he's not working on Concourse and doesn't plan to, or something like that. I may be mistaken, but it was in a discussion around. Maybe it was on the text fork
yeah,
or somewhere. I'm trying
yeah.
to remember, but yeah, it,
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think I remember him saying he's not on the team with these other people now, actually. So you might even have to remove him from that. All right, something I'll chat about with Derek actually then. Okay, cool. We'll do that then. All right, and yeah, I'll take a look at the issue and go through the code a little bit, see if there's anything super obvious that can easily fix that issue. And if not, I'll just share whatever information I find. All right. All right, and I think with that, we will end the meeting here. I'm gonna take Derek off the attendees list. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, folks. Thanks for coming. I'll see you in the next
bye
one.
bye.